Thank you for watching this Last Mile Profits video.
So there may be people wondering, why do I look like this? Well, this episode is about porch piracy, a really big deal in the UK. Keep watching to find out more.
Last Mile Profits is brought to you by Parcel Pending by Quadient.
Gary, there's a perennial topic that comes back again and again because it's a real issue, which is the issue of porch piracy. And I gather that there's some interesting data that is about to come out from Quadient.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, I think, the third or fourth year in a row that Quadient has commissioned a major piece of research into parcel theft in the UK. And the report comes out on November the 11th. So hopefully this video should be dropping on the day that we publish the report.
So tell us a little bit, because I know there's a bit of history with the report.
Yeah.
B, there's a very good reason why Quadient is interested in this particular report and supporting it. And then maybe later on we can talk a little bit about, the issue itself, but maybe we can kick off with those.
Yeah,
points.
sure. So the way the report's been compiled is that we write to every single police force in the UK. There are 45 police forces, including the Met in London. Last year we had responses from 21. This year we've had responses from 27. So we've got data from well over half the police forces in the UK, making it properly statistically meaningful. And we ask a series of questions around parcel theft and the incidents in that local police force area, and about, we can map it back to postcode and so on. And then we build up from that a kind of national picture of what's happening with parcel theft, or porch piracy as it was christened on the other side of the pond across the UK. To say the report is popular is an understatement. We get picked up by all kinds of media. So I've had TV, radio, national press, regional press, trade press. I think over 240 regional papers picked up on the information, as well as The Guardian, The Times, The Mail, Channel 4, BBC Radio. So it really does. Because I think it's one of those crimes. It's not a remote crime. It's a crime that you've either been a victim of yourself, or you almost definitely know somebody that's been a victim of it. That's how common it's become.
And tell me one thing. I know, of course, you're not going to be able to share details at the moment, but generally speaking, which direction is the pendulum swinging?
Well, in the wrong direction, sadly. One of the reasons that Quadient does the report is to encourage best practice. And we're definitely not saying consumers are at fault or contribute to the theft, because, there's no reason for anybody to steal. But we try to publicise, good measures, good practice, to try to minimise the chance of your parcel being stolen if you live in a risky area or in a property that's got a higher chance of risk. But I think with the growth of parcel volume and with the greater incidence of theft, unfortunately, the pendulum, we describe it, has swung in the wrong direction, and there's more theft.
And I remember we had a discussion before filming, and you were saying that there are some areas. So, if we had a heat map of porch piracy, there are some places and scenarios in which, people are more prone to this happening.
Yeah, I think this was the media's favourite question. Where's the worst place to live in the UK to have your parcels stolen? And it's one that we won't answer, because we have 27 of the 45 police forces. So there could be another area that we've not had data from. But what I can tell you is, if you live in a rural area versus an urban or a city centre area, you're much likely to be the victim of this crime. And also, if you live in a house versus an apartment or some other form of shared accommodation, you'll also lower your risk. So the highest risk would be a city centre apartment block, and the lowest risk would be a house in a rural area. I mean, this isn't rocket science. I think if you ask a man in the street to guess, where your parcel would be most likely to be stolen from, it wouldn't be a complete surprise. But it does show you that, and this is where I'm going to bring the lockers thing in again, our argument for a dense network of urban parcel lockers where customers could elect to collect their parcel from rather than have it delivered on their doorstep is absolutely the right direction to go.
And I suspect that answers the last of my earlier questions. Why is Parcel Pending by Quadient so happy to support this sort of research?
Well, it adds weight to an argument that you and I both believe in. It's not like we've invented the phenomenon, but it is one of the things that you can do to help reduce it. Now, one of the other things you can do is work more closely with your driver, with the courier that's coming to your house. Many of the delivery companies will offer you a safe place to drop your parcel. They'll offer to drop it at a neighbour. They'll offer to come back a day when you're going to be in. Download the app, follow the instructions, get to take a little bit more attention, responsibility for the delivery, and you can probably do a ton of things, even if you don't have a parcel locker or a Pudo store near to you. But as we know, there are thousands upon thousands of Pudo stores. There are thousands and growing numbers of lockers, particularly in urban areas. So there are more solutions out there. And as I said, I'm reluctant to point at the consumer and say, you made this happen by doing it, because I think the couriers have got their part to pay. Don't leave it right on the front doorstep. We were on holiday for a couple of weeks. We got a taxi to the station to go to the airport. We left our car on the drive. The drivers assumed my wife was home and left stuff on the front doorstep. Now, luckily, our neighbour opposite spotted this had happened and took the parcel in. But little things like that, saying I'm going to be away, please do this instead, you can take a little bit more control.
I think that's a good point. So obviously, we're in agreement that out-of-home delivery, so Pudos, lockers, leave safe, are the best solution. For that, you have to have good interactive delivery management tools, and most carriers, I think, do have that now. But there are a few other things, and I think some of them are actually on the part of the sender, the e-commerce typically player. If you have a big sign saying "electronics, be careful," or a brand name, I think we also discussed that in the past.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most interesting stats from back when I worked at a carrier is that sportswear, trainers, athleisure wear, I believe it's called. I can see from your outfit today, Marek, that you're embracing the athleisure wear trend. They are very easy to dispose of or to sell. So choosing a random brown box off a front doorstep, it's a bit like the pick and mix parcel video we did a couple of months back, where I got all that detritus bought from the shopping centre in Vienna. But if it says Nike, Adidas, JD Sports, or whatever on the outside of the parcel, you're probably thinking, I've got a good chance I can get a few quid for this on eBay, down the pub, or whatever. So there's things that you're right that the shipper could do differently.
So, but the reality is everyone has to work. The shipper has a role, the carrier has a role. And, although we're not pointing a finger at the consignee has a role, consignee being us.
Absolutely.
Gary, I think it's a great topic. Looking forward to actually reading the report.
Yeah, we've got to keep the data under our hat until November the 11th. So sorry, Mary.
So November 11, looking forward to seeing the report. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It helps keep these videos free. But also, if you've got some comments, if you have some incredible examples of porch piracy, then let us know. I'm sure the viewers will be interested. Gary, as usual, great talking.
And you too. Thanks, Mary.